Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It is 6:08. Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So coming up 8 o'clock, we will have the usual Q101 Fest. Your chance to get to the Minnesota Yacht Club Music Festival featuring Green Day, Fall Out Boy, Hozier, Sublime, 311, and more. That'll be at 8 o'clock. At 7:10, Clash with Kenzie, we have more Bad Flower guaranteed entry passes for our free Q101 pop-up. That's happening. And a fact that makes your brain go. Just about 10 minutes away. A lot of stuff in the show scattered through, but I just want to mark a point here because you call up the show, Case is here, picks up, but on Thursdays and certain days of the week, Josie is here behind the scenes helping out. And when Case went to Vegas to go see some Lucha Libre backyard wrestling, some events out there during WrestleMania week.
I have no clarification. Nothing that you said was incorrect.
Josie
It
filled
wasn't
in.
a joke.
No. I know it sounds like Brian would be saying something so absurd that it would have to be a joke, but no, sir, it was not. Everything he said was technically correct.
And
Yowza.
Jamie from Maryville said that he loves Janine. Loves always when Janine's on the phone, or Josie, I should say. Just picks up the phones. Josie, I'm sorry.
Josie, I should say, her name.
On her last day, I forgot her name. That's right. It's very sad. People in Maryville checking in, they love when Josie picks up the phone. But
Which is a new occurrence, by the way, because when Josie first started helping me out a year ago, she'd answer the phone. And because I've answered the phone since 2019, I've been the guy that from 6 to 10, when you call into Q101, you hear my voice first, which I do apologize for.
yeah, big apology.
So when Josie started answering the phones, instead of saying hello, people would go, "Who are you? What's happening? What's going on right now?"
Yep.
And instead, we have to pour one out for Josie today.
Yeah, she won him over. And she's leaving. We'll tell you why she's leaving, and we'll have an exit interview with her at 8:30.
Case has some issues with the fact that people like her, and she's gone.
I just keep on knocking people out here one by one. Eventually, I'm going to run the company.
Well,
Headshot.
He's clearly not happy with the double feature song when he came back from his Vegas vacation and heard that they made one of their finest pieces ever.
Honestly, it's so good.
And, upsetting for Case anyway.
Case is on a vacation far away, alone in Vegas like a loser. Josie's on the phone taking calls all day. Give her a ring 'cause she's the new producer. Case is gonna lose his job tonight. Watching underground wrestling fights.
Boy, it's catchy.
It really is.
It's so good.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and time for a fact that makes your brain go. And in a way, it's a double fact because on this day, two things were created, obviously years apart. I'll give you the years in a second, but two things that were created that changed all of our lives in a positive, good, fun way. I don't think anybody listening cannot say these two things changed your life. Maybe you use one, maybe you use the other, but in tandem, they're even better. So one was created 139 years ago today.
Which is how long ago?
That would have been 1886.
Okay.
And the other one, 66 years ago, which would be 1959.
I thought you said they were created in tandem.
No, I said in tandem, they can be incredible together, but you can also use them separately and enjoy them just as much.
Okay.
In tandem, forget about it.
I think I know what it is.
Okay, you go ahead and take a guess.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly, great guess. Great guess. Peanut butter on its own, great. Jelly on its own, pretty damn good. I used to make jelly sandwiches because I didn't like peanut butter and jelly in the beginning. I just made jelly sandwiches.
Yeah. You're a jelly roll guy.
Caseless jelly roll guy.
Oh, yeah,
Big
jelly roll. Awesome.
Big jelly roll guy.
I love everything he's got going on.
So, Case, what do you think it is if it's not peanut butter and jelly?
Can I get the years one more time?
So one was invented today, 1886. The other one today, 1959. And I'm telling you, individually, they're great. Together, forget about it.
Was the old one, the 1800s one, was it ice cream? And was the 1950s one root beer? And ever since then, we've had root beer floats, which, by the way,
don't you think root beer came before ice cream?
I don't
though?
know. That's why I'm all stuck
Root
now.
beer sounds effing ancient.
It does sound effing ancient. You're right, Kenzie. Also,
Jesus could have drank root beer potentially. It sounds old.
if anybody can deliver a root beer float to NBC Tower this morning, let me know. That sounds good.
If you look carefully at the Last Supper, it's root beer on the table.
Oh, they've got A&W root beer on the table?
Yeah. I think, who was the one that betrayed Jesus?
Judas?
Judas has cream soda.
Ah.
That's how he should have known. That's how he should have known.
I think Moses had a Diet Mountain Dew on the table if you look closely.
Is Moses at the table at the Last Supper?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
it's
either.
His disciples. Moses wasn't a disciple.
Yeah,
What was
Moses-
Moses?
I think-
like a company
He
guy?
was a slave who freed the Hebrews in Egypt.
Yeah.
Look at the Bible brain on Kenzie.
Good Lord.
My God.
There's a fact.
Well, now I got to figure out who was at the Last Supper now.
All the disciples.
But I don't. Who are the disciples?
I have to name all of them? Like
Yeah.
Paul's there? I don't know all of them.
You got pretty good Moses knowledge off your top of your head. You want
I
to
don't
go
know
through?
all the 12.
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here
Get the drum roll music.
we had Peter, Andrew, James, John, Philip, Thomas.
The apostle, right?
Yep, Thomas. Bartholomew,
Oh yeah, I should have got. That should have been the first one I thought of.
James, the son of Alphaeus, Judas, who was drinking the cream soda, Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. Thaddeus.
Yeah, he got that Thaddeus on him.
Not to be related to Thad Young, the former NBA player.
Shout out former Indiana Pacer.
And,
and Chicago Bull.
and I bet you'll never get the last one of the 12 disciples at the Last Supper. You're never going to get this.
Well, is it Amari or Stefan? Thaddeus has thrown me for a loop.
Guess the name, Kenzie, real quick. Just guess the name.
Well, I'm trying to think of who you haven't said. You haven't said Mateus yet.
He's not there. He wasn't there. Unless
you
he
sure?
went to get rolls and they didn't make it back for the picture.
They took the photo without him.
So the final one was Simon the Zealot. Simon the Zealot.
Tough nickname.
Yeah. How do you get that name? You want to lose that name, I think. He's like, I'm not a zealot. No, man, you are. Think about
I don't even know what zealot means. What's a zealot? I know what a harlot is.
I bet.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, a zealot is a person who is super fanatical religiously. But you would think everybody at the disciples, they all are zealots.
I mean, no, Judas was like, how do I get rid of this guy?
Yeah.
Not a zealot.
That's an exact quote. It's on page 482 of the Bible, the New Testament. But you think they're all zealots, right? So why did Simon get labeled the zealot? Mm-hmm. He was just, once in a while they were going like, hey guys, let's just not talk about religion for a while. And then he's like, well, no, that's a kind of our thing. Simon the Zealot over here. All right, there we go. There's the disciples and Moses nowhere to be seen or alive at the Last Supper. But the fact is, 139 years ago and 66 years ago on this day, two things were created. They're awesome individually, but together, forget about it. You can take a guess at 312-591-8300, and we come back in 3 minutes after Incubus. We'll lay it all out for you. It's Brian and Kenzie, Q101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, a fact that makes your brain go. That's kind of a double fact today because we talked about two things that were created on this day. One was 139 years ago in 1886. The other one was 66 years ago in 1959. They're incredible, separate. But together, forget about it. And this led to Kenzie guessing peanut butter and jelly, a great guess, and Case saying ice cream and root beer floats, making the comment that Jesus probably had root beer, which led us to a discussion that root beer was on the table at the Last Supper. We had a Moses conversation which, by the way, Moses lived centuries before Jesus. He couldn't have been there. Maybe his great-great-grandson was trying to get into that dinner because it's a pretty cool dinner to be at, the Last Supper. Pretty big dinner.
So Moses and Jesus didn't know each other? I grew up Catholic. I have no idea.
What were you doing that day in
What
class?
do you mean you grew? Why are you saying you grew up Catholic? Like it's an excuse to not know it. I feel like they probably talked about it.
No, it's the opposite. I feel like I should know it. But did Moses not like hang with Jesus?
No.
Oh,
No,
man.
God was the one who spoke to him. Because remember, like all the plagues and stuff to the pharaohs.
Old Testament, right?
Yeah, it's the good stuff.
You seem like an Old
That's what
Testament
it was
kind of gal.
hitting. He wasn't messing around, bro.
New Testament was too woke for Kenzie's
Listen.
liking.
You read Old Testament, you're like, oh, they better listen. Okay, you want to play with this? I don't think so. Get ready.
Trying to say that Moses hung with
Jesus.
Jesus would be like saying that you hung with Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, that puts it in perspective.
Does it? So, yeah, they were nowhere even close.
Wow, I thought they were like boys.
No, they were not boys.
Okay, but the apostles were Jesus's boys. They're like a whole posse. That was like Entourage before Entourage.
Yeah, the disciples.
They're doing different stuff.
Simon the Zealot was like Johnny Drama.
Yeah.
You know.
Peter was like Turtle.
All right, so let's move on from.
Wine company.
Yeah, let's move on from that. I got this guy that can just keep making wine.
Yeah.
For, what's the cost? Nothing.
The overhead's insane. You're not gonna believe this. It's 100% profit.
I'm not trying to blow your mind, but fish jump out of the water for this guy too, without a fishing pole.
Yeah. Hey, you see that water? My dude can walk on it.
I got this golden thing.
Yeah. My guy walks on the water to this island and makes wine. All right, you're full of crap. I'm not investing in your company.
I'm out.
I'm out. Okay, so you're both wrong, by the way, and some listeners guessed a lot of things like weed and rolling papers. They go together awesome. But this is what it was. 139 years ago, as we go back, on this day, Dr. John Pemberton came up with the secret formula for Coca-Cola.
Oh.
Okay? Pretty good on its own, right?
I'm drinking one right now.
Drinking a regular Coke?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got some
What am I
Coke.
drinking? I'm not drinking a Diet Coke.
Well, I got Coke Zeros with me. They're kind of diet, I guess. Drink that stuff like water. Like Jesus' wine, I drink that stuff like. He was cooking over a fire in his backyard, and at first he combined it with straight water, but a drugstore clerk used carbonated water, and that's how Coke was born. 38 million gallons of Coke are consumed daily. 38 million daily. So Coke's pretty good. You're a Coke girl, right, Kenzie, or no? You're a Pepsi girl.
Yeah, I'm a Diet Coke girl, but a Coke girl nonetheless, yes.
Yeah. I went to recently a place and they had RC, which is obviously very Chicago, RC Cola. When you go to a bar and ask for a Coke, a lot of times it's just RC Cola, which is delicious, by the way, RC Cola. Really good. But Coke in my world as well. I don't buy RC Cola, but I know I drink a lot of it just by default. So that was invented 139 years ago. 66 years ago, on this day, something that made drinking a Coke incredible. Now, you can drink it on its own, like Casey's doing right now without this thing, but Little Caesars Pizza was invented 66 years ago.
Why did you act like these were 100%
100%.
together?
Because there's nothing like a slice of Little Caesars with a Coke. Now,
Pizza.
You can eat that Little Caesars, and it's fine. It's great. Love it. I think it's underrated, by the way. Little Caesars does not get enough love. And then Coke gets enough love. But together, Coke and a slice? Oh, it's the greatest thing ever. I don't understand why there's not more slice places in downtown Chicago. Like, why don't Michigan Avenue's got some empty spaces, They can't find rent. The mall over there, the water tower, a lot of empty stuff.
Mall.
Put some slices places in there. You charge $6, probably charges you 25 cents to make a slice. Do it. Put Little Caesars right on Michigan Avenue. Why not?
Little Caesars in the news this week. Do you know why? It's a big week for them.
I don't know why.
As of May 5th, Little Caesars has an exclusive Mountain Dew flavor, Mountain Dew Mango Rush, which is available only at Little Caesars. I've been DM'd about 150 times this week asking if I've had a chance to go get the Little Caesars Mountain Dew yet. I have not, but when that time comes, hopefully this weekend, I'll be more than happy to report back.
Okay.
Are you a mango guy?
I'm not. Mango's actually my least favorite fruit. I think mango sucks.
Oh, mangoes are good.
Nah, not a mango guy.
Like mango high noons, the vodka seltzer are great.
Yeah,
They're so good.
I like bananas. I like strawberries. I like blueberries. I like kiwis. I like oranges. I like clementines. I like all these fruit. Mango, not one of them.
Huh.
Do you think your body's like, because you haven't had any of those?
No,
As you're listing fruits.
I've had fruit. I know what fruit tastes like. My body likes
only
it.
in Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
That's
you've
not
been- yeah.
fair.
And Gatorade.
Yeah, they're like, that's not accurate.
You've never bitten into any of those fruits. You've just drank them through Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I've never bitten into a banana. You're right. Yeah, that's never happened in my 26 years on Earth.
I'd believe it.
Somebody wrote in all capitals that was misleading, and you know it, Brian.
What, the whole fact was? Are you kidding me? Little Caesar's Pizza. You get there's one called Bacon Explosion or something like that. There's so much bacon on it. And you get me a good Coke, a fountain Coke with that?
Which is funny because Little Caesars has Pepsi products.
Well, that's a mistake. That's a terrible mistake right there.
Which really blows up the whole fact.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had that
Well,
in-house.
that's a mistake.
I've only taken Little Caesars out. I've never dined in the restaurant.
Oh, you got to eat in.
But most of them are just kind of
Why, what,
stops.
like a candle or something, Case? What are you talking about?
I've had a few nice nights at Little Caesars.
But most of them are just hot and ready, and I leave.
Well, most
His
of them.
girlfriend said, I want to go to Italy. He's like, I'll do you one better.
We're gonna meet Caesar.
Put on your finest.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Coming up in sports in about 4 minutes, we will have an update on the Bears stadium drama. We haven't talked about it in a while. We did mention that after the NFL draft, we had heard, our sources had said, that they will announce officially that the Bears are moving to Arlington Heights. Is that the announcement coming up in sports in 3 minutes for sure?
Is it a groundbreaking announcement? Dun, 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 dun. Come on.
Clever.
Boo!
This is why I wanted Josie to have your job.
That's right. I wish I had the song ready to go, but I don't. We'll have that coming up in sports. And then also, the guy that fell in the Cubs game at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, there's new video that shows what he was really doing and what caused the fall. So we'll tell you what it was.
Was he in a fight?
Well, we'll tell you in 3 minutes.
Was he in a fight?
We'll tell you in 3 minutes.
Did somebody throw him?
Calm down with that groundbreaking information there. 3 minutes away. But first, yesterday we talked to Jeremy Piven, of course, Ari Golden Entourage. You may know him from a lot of things. And we have the whole interview. It was up on the podcast, the Brian and Kenzie podcast. You can download it. He was so good. Jeremy Piven was so good in going through so many movies. I threw something at him, like every kind of, whether it was Entourage or, Judgment Night. He had a story about everything he's done that was something I've never heard before. What an interview with Jeremy Piven.
Singles. That's how you kicked it off. Nobody ever. I've never seen the movie Singles. I've heard of it. I didn't know he was in it. You kicked it off with Singles.
He's in it for 59 seconds and stole the movie.
Wow.
But here's a clip he talked about. Another thing that was kind of shocking of talking about, he was on Seinfeld. It was that episode called The Pilot when they basically made a show in the show. And he played George. He tells the story here of how it all happened and how it played out. This is Jeremy Piven on the show yesterday with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Parking lot, and Mark Hirschfeld, who was the casting director, stops me and he says, "Hey, Jeremy, I got an audition for you." And I was like, "Yeah, audition?" So he goes, would you audition to play George Costanza on Seinfeld? Now, I didn't have a TV because I'm a stage actor from Chicago. I still think I'm broke. I don't have a TV in my house. I knew Jason, from the parking lot. We would say hello to each other, and he's a great guy. And I'd never seen the show, so I just went in there and did my impersonation because I knew I could understand his accent. Obviously, he's from New York, and I could read in the sides that he's this nebbishy character. So I just kind of threw it out there, and they're like, "Oh my God, you must be a huge fan of the show." I was like, "Yes, I am."
So good. The whole interview at the Brian and Kenzie podcast. You can listen to it on demand.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.